Not everyone has a gaming PC. Some of us are out here with 4 gigs of RAM and integrated graphics just trying to have a good time. If you are one of those people, I got you, buddy. I'll start with Vampire Survivors because this one is almost offensive in how addictive it is for what it is. You move with WASD, you don't even click to shoot, your character attacks automatically. That's the whole control scheme. What you're actually doing is picking weapons every few minutes, watching them stack and combine into increasingly absurd combinations, and trying not to get swallowed by a screen full of enemies. There's no story to speak of, there's barely a UI, it needs 1 gigabyte of RAM and basically any GPU made in the last 15 years. I remember the first time I unlocked the Crimson Shroud, I thought the game was broken. It wasn't broken, that's just what happens when you let the build cook long enough. Next up, Brotato. Same genre, different feel. You're a potato, armed with up to 6 weapons simultaneously. The rounds are about 20-90 seconds each, then you shop, then you run another round. What makes Brotato interesting is how much build variety there is. You can go full melee, full ranged, full dodge everything, or, my personal favorite, a cursed hybrid that doesn't really work, but you commit to it anyway. Each character you unlock changes the rules enough that it doesn't feel repetitive. Okay, Katana ZERO, this one is different. It's a 2D action game where you play an assassin, you can slow time, and every room is basically a puzzle you solve with a sword. You die in 1 hit, the enemies die in 1 hit, every level is a short sequence you figure out, fail, figure out again, and then execute cleanly. What I didn't expect was how much I'd care about the story. It's a noir thing, you're waking up every morning, getting your mission briefing from a mysterious benefactor, and slowly realizing things don't add up. The dialogue has this weird branching thing where you can interrupt NPCs mid-sentence. It's a small detail, but it makes conversations feel alive. The game also needs barely anything to run. I genuinely think Nuclear Throne is underrated. It came out in 2015, it's a roguelike top-down shooter, and it is difficult. Not you'll get it after a few runs difficult, more like you will die in the same room for a week and then suddenly everything clicks type of difficult. The mutation system is what keeps it interesting. Every level you pick a passive upgrade and the combinations can completely change how a run feels. The weapons have weight to them, which sounds like a weird thing to say about a game that only takes 200 megabytes of storage. Next, we have Celeste. I know you've probably heard of this one. It's a precision platformer, it's about climbing a mountain, and it's mechanically one of the tightest games I've played. Every room is a self-contained challenge. The learning curve is steep, but the game never punishes you for dying. There's no penalty, you just restart the room instantly. There's an assist mode if you need it, which lets you slow the game down or give yourself more air dashes. No shame in it. The game genuinely doesn't judge you. The story deals with anxiety in a way that feels honest rather than heavy-handed. You're hiking up a mountain to get cell signal. That's the whole premise. No combat, no timer, no fail-state. You wander around, talk to NPCs, collect little golden feathers that let you glide and climb higher, and eventually reach the top. There's a fishing minigame, a beach you stumble onto, random hikers with small problems you can help with or ignore. None of it is mandatory. The game doesn't push you anywhere. You just explore at whatever pace feels right. It's a short, quiet game with no big moments and no twist ending. And I still think about it more than games I've spent entire weekends on. Neon White is a first-person speedrunner where you're killing demons in heaven. The core mechanic is that your weapons are cards, and you can either use them to attack or throw them away to get a movement ability instead. So every decision is a trade-off. Do I shoot this enemy, or do I need the double jump more? The levels are short, maybe 30 to 90 seconds each, and the game ranks you on time. So you clear a level, see that you're 2 seconds off the gold medal, and immediately hit retry, because you know exactly where you lost the time. That that loop is what gets people. It's not about reaction speed, it's about finding the optimal path and then executing it cleanly. Visually, it's stylized, anime-influenced, high contrast, very deliberate aesthetic. It looks fast even when you're standing still. The story is a visual novel thing between levels, which sounds like it would kill the momentum, but somehow doesn't. Minimum is 6 gigs RAM and a GeForce GTX 450, a GPU from 2010. Slightly higher bar than most things on this list, but still well within potato territory. Next up, Hollow Knight. Now we're getting into slightly less potato territory. It requires around 4 GB RAM, a GeForce 9800 GTX or equivalent. That's a GPU from 2008. It's not too bad, I guess. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania. You're a bug with a nail exploring a dead underground kingdom. It's about 30-40 hours for a standard playthrough and considerably more if you go after everything. The map is massive, and it opens up slowly as you gain abilities. What gets people is the atmosphere. The kingdom of Hollow Nest is quiet and melancholic in a way that doesn't feel forced. The lore is mostly environmental. You pick it up from item descriptions, ghost memories, crumbling architecture. You piece together what happened. Some of it you'll figure out hours after you first encounter the clue. Requires 9 GB of storage, which is the heaviest ask on this list proportionally, but worth it. Slay the Spire is a deck builder roguelike. You build a card deck over the course of a run, fight increasingly hard enemies, and try to beat the final boss. Every run uses different cards, so no 2 runs feel identical. The game sounds simple, but the decision-making is deep. Every card you add to your deck is also a card that could appear at a bad moment. Lean decks with consistent synergies outperform fat decks with no direction. I learned this after many failed runs with decks that looked powerful and somehow weren't. The Watcher character especially will make you feel like a genius and then immediately humble you. I don't think Stardew Valley needs a long explanation. You inherit a farm. You plant crops, befriend villagers, explore a mine, and slowly turn a patch of overgrown land into something you care about. What I'll say is that it scratches a specific itch that most games don't, that feeling of steady, low-pressure progress. There's always something to do, but nothing is urgent. Some people find that boring. I find it useful after a long day of heavy editing. Also, the game was made by one person, which is the kind of information that makes you feel slightly inadequate.
Lies a weapon of immeasurable power. A gun that can kill the past.
As the name suggests, Enter the Gungeon involves a lot of guns. It's a top-down bullet hell roguelike. Every character you play has a different past, and the whole goal is to reach a gun at the bottom of the dungeon that can kill the past. The guns are the bit. There are hundreds of them, many of them jokes, many of them surprisingly functional. At some point, you will find a gun that shoots guns. I was waiting for Exhibit to pop out and say that famous line. The dodge roll is the core mechanic. Rolling through bullets gives you brief invincibility frames. Get that timing right and the game opens up considerably. Until then, it's a lot of dying in the second chamber. Next up we have ULTRAKILL. This one is a first-person shooter set in hell. You have no health pickups, you heal by dealing damage up close, so the optimal way to play is constantly in the face of every enemy, which sounds stressful, and it is, but it's also where the game feels best. The movement is fast and the combat has a style ranking system like Devil May Cry. You're rewarded for variety, creativity, and not standing still. It's a game that wants you to look cool while playing it, which is either motivating or exhausting depending on who you are. For me, it was motivating, until I hit a boss that made me want to go back to Stardew Valley.
Stupid boy. I told you nobody gets out of here.
Next up, Hades. This is a roguelike action game. You play Zagreus, son of Hades, trying to escape the underworld. Every failed run sends you back to the start, but the story continues. NPCs react to your attempts, relationships develop, new dialogue unlocks. The story is woven into the repetition rather than interrupted by it. The combat is fast and varied. Each weapon changes how you play, and each run you pick up boons from the Olympian gods that modify your abilities. Some combinations are clearly stronger than others, but there are enough viable paths that you naturally develop preferences. This game has the heaviest requirement on this list, but also arguably the most complete game on it.
Very interesting.
Death approaches.
For the final one on the list, Dave the Diver. This one is a little different from everything else here. Days are split between diving, a side-scrolling action thing where you hunt fish and explore the ocean, and running a sushi restaurant at night with what you caught. The two halves feed into each other. It's longer than you'd expect and has a surprising amount of story. It also has random collaborators that show up in it that I won't spoil because stumbling into them is most of the fun. The game needs 8GB RAM and a GeForce GTX 450, which is one of the highest bar on this list, but it's worth if you can get it running.
That's it for the list. If your PC has been collecting dust because you thought it couldn't run anything worth playing, it probably can. Most of these are under $20. Some of them are under $5 on sale. The bar is lower than you think. If I've missed anything, let me know in the comments. I read every one of them.